My fiancé is a homicide detective, and I'm starting to feel like he treats me more like a suspect than a partner. My fiancé and I have been together for almost 4 years. He is a homicide detective. When I first started dating him, my friends immediately began side-eyeing me. They told me not to date a cop, that it was not worth it, and that they are all abusive, among other things. None of them have ever actually dated a cop, so I found their opinions more annoying than anything else. It felt like they were basing their judgments on stereotypes. My mom said similar things, but her experience came from dating a cop who was former military with PTSD almost 49 years ago, and she based everything on that relationship. Lately, though, a few things have started to bother me. I do not know if these incidents are becoming more frequent or if I was simply willfully blind to them before. Either way, they are bothering me now. He records our arguments. I have known about this for a while. He told me it was to make sure we remember things correctly and communicate better, and at first, I believed him. I did not like it, and I thought it was petty and unnecessary. I asked him if he saved the recordings, and he said he deleted them once the argument was resolved. Recently, I found a folder on his computer labeled with dates and times. Inside were recordings of arguments and other conversations we have had, going back over a year. He also notices very small changes in my behavior and asks questions in a way that feels more like an interrogation than concern. I recently discovered that he has run background checks on some of my friends and coworkers. Sometimes his phone buzzes, and he steps out for hours without explanation. When I ask, he just says he is handling work stuff. He makes cryptic comments like, I only trust what I can verify, or, I like to know everything that might matter, when talking about things between us, not strictly work-related. Then he laughs it off, but the words stick. It is hard to tell when he is joking and when he is serious. I love him, but sometimes it feels like he is treating me like a suspect. He does not seem to trust anyone, including me. Every little disagreement feels like it could become evidence. Recently, he has made comments about having kids, such as wanting them to have trackers on them at all times and never allowing them to spend the night at friends' houses. This came up after I mentioned that people at work were saying their kids do not have sleepovers anymore like we used to. He said he would never let his children stay overnight at someone else's house and that he would run background checks on every parent of our children's friends and even on teachers. These comments are becoming more frequent, and it feels like things are escalating. How do I handle this with him? How do I discuss it in a way that will not turn into another pointless argument that he inevitably records for no good reason? I genuinely do not know how to bring this up. I have considered telling him he needs therapy because he cannot continue living with this level of suspicion and paranoia about everyone and everything, but I am almost certain he would refuse. Final update, I think a good place to start is by saying that I do believe my fiancé is a good man. He is not cruel, aggressive, or violent, and he genuinely believes that he is right most of the time. I know many people were very negative in their responses to my original post. Part of me wants to thank everyone for their concern, but another part of me wonders whether some of the negativity stems from the nature of his work. After sitting with all of this for a few days, I decided I could not put off the conversation any longer. I told him we needed to talk and that this was not about winning an argument. I started with the recordings. I told him I knew he had been stockpiling recordings of arguments and conversations going back over a year and explained how violated and threatened it made me feel. He did not deny it. He said he keeps them in case things ever get twisted and to protect himself. Hearing my fiancé speak about our relationship in a way that implied he views it as a potential lawsuit was deeply unsettling. When I brought up the way he questions me and observes small shifts in my behavior, he said this is simply how his brain works and that, given what he has seen in his career, he cannot turn it off. He explained that pointing out details does not mean he believes I am doing anything wrong, only that he prefers to verify rather than assume. He added that most detectives' partners just get used to it, which left me wondering whether that is actually true or just a common excuse for problematic behavior. The background checks on my friends and coworkers became a much larger issue. He admitted to doing them and stated that he would absolutely do the same for people involved in our future children's lives. He did not view it as an invasion of privacy, but rather as being informed. According to him, people with nothing to hide have nothing to worry about. The conversation about children was the most sobering. He doubled down on trackers, no sleepovers, and thoroughly screening every adult in their lives. When I called this controlling, he said, "Healthy doesn't matter if they're safe." That sentence has stayed with me. I asked him if he trusted me. He paused for a very long time before answering. Eventually, he said he trusted me as much as he trusts anyone else. I do not think he realized how unsettling that response was. I asked what would happen if we ever broke up. He said he would never do anything illegal, but that a man must always take care of himself. I still do not know what that is supposed to mean. I asked for some space and am currently staying with family. He did not seem angry. I honestly expected him to accuse me of being dramatic, but instead he was very cold and matter-of-fact about it. While I am not ending our engagement yet, I am seriously reconsidering everything. As much as I love him and believe he genuinely wants to do right by our relationship, I do not want a life where I am constantly observed, recorded, and assessed instead of supported. More than anything, I do not think I can raise children with someone who prioritizes control over trust.